Yes, they're calling it a perfect storm thanks to a COVID backup. Ships backlogged for months now, pushing full steam ahead into ports and warehouses that have no room for product. And that's because truckers who move cargo are dropping in droves.
The Port of Los Angeles announced today that it's going to begin operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The misinformation, I think, was by saying, okay, Biden just ordered all the ports 24/7. That's going to solve the problem. No, it won't.
For 15 years, Captain Manny Aschemeyer oversaw our nation's largest port complex as executive director at the Marine Exchange for Southern California.
Answering that age-old question, has my ship come in? And we answer that question literally thousands of times a day.
Based on his experience, Captain Manny says the around-the-clock mandate only works if each part of the distribution chain plays by the same rules.
When you deliver that cargo to a distribution center or a warehouse or some guy's business, and they're not open, they're only open 8 to 5, then 24/7 doesn't help much because they can't leave that box there, or if they leave that box there, it sits.
The logistical nightmare certainly begins at the ports. If this map looks complicated, that's because it is. In this snapshot from a record-breaking day in October, these nearly 100 markers represent ships waiting to unload in the LA Long Beach port complex. Dozens more wait off the coast for room to get to port.
So you have a lot of things that are stacking on top of one another that's creating this glut of cargo coming to the States.
Backlogs began due to COVID shutdowns, which sparked massive warehouse layoffs. Then the hyper-buying of goods to restock shelves followed, leaving only limited staff to do the work.
Well, I would say every deadline's being missed. Many of them have been on their ships now for nearly 2 years, unable to get a relief. And that is a nasty reality.
Captain Manny says the real panic in the pantry comes from what's happening in the trucking industry.
The last mile in trade is the most critical. That's when it goes from the warehouse to the store shelf. And that's usually done by a truck.
California independent truckers are fighting an uphill battle with the state legislature. That's because Assembly Bill 5, which is intended to give Uber and Lyft drivers minimum wage and other benefits, also affects about half of the state's truckers. The bill stops them from operating their own rigs by their own rules.
And a lot of independent contractors simply took a hike and went to other ports around the country to work, or frankly got out of the business altogether.
Another hurdle is a California environmental group barring truckers from registering rigs built before 2010.
And suddenly you're telling a guy that's got a truck that's 10 and a half years old, they say, well, you can't use it anymore.
Given these restraints and driver shortages, Captain Manny says store shelves will sit bare past Christmas, and the cost of everything will continue going up.
The West Coast has evolved the way it has through no one's fault.
While that might be true, more trouble could lay ahead. Given the excessive backup in incoming cargo, contracts for about 15,000 West Coast dock workers are set to expire next summer. This as union workers fight the impact of automation, which is expected to increase at more terminals. I'm Brody Carter, CBN News.